So we said import pandas as PD. Okay, and then we said we created a list. So we say list equal to okay. So let's say I want to add say Apple production. Okay, so first value we will have is say quarter. Okay, let's say quarter production. So I'm going to say Q1 2022, and then this is your Apple production. Let's say whatever kg. Okay, then banana production. Then I want to do for let's say you have a garden. Let's say you have a big orchard and you make and you sell fruit. Okay, let's say you did this is oranges, right? So this is your production for quarter one, and I say quarter 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so you have 2, 3, and 4. Okay, now I want to see this as a table. So what I'll say data underscore df equal to pd dot data frame. Okay, pd d capital. Okay, data frame d capital f capital, and I say list one. So first I give raw data. Okay, list one, and you have values in a simple bracket. So these values are in simple bracket, followed by next set of values in simple bracket. Okay, comma, third and fourth, and entire thing is another simple bracket list, right? So how many? So list has how many members? So this is one member, two members, three members, four members, and each there are four members, and each member has four members each, right? So okay. Now when I print data frame, now when I print list one, let's see how that it changes. Okay, so if I say print list one, okay, and when you run it, so this is how list one is printed, right? Now see how data form got printed. Okay, so data frame, it got printed in a table format. You have column and body in it, right? So by default, the header is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and row is also 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the name Python gives so that we can refer. If I have to refer fourth column, I can say the column index third. Column index 3 is the fourth column, right? Indexing starts from 0. In Python indexing starts from 0. So column into 4, okay, is this. So this is your column index 1. Column, this is column. So column index 0. This is your column. So second column, column index 1, column index 2, column index 3. Okay. So if you do not give header, okay, uh, data frame will add column headers, and it will also add row headers. These are your row headers 0, 1, 2, 3. These are your row headers. Okay, so row headers are also added. Okay, row headers are also added. Okay, so this is how you will get this information. Now let's say I want to add this column title. I want to add column headers. So you can define columns as a separate value, something like this. And this will also be a list using simple bracket. Okay. So here I'm going to say first value as a string. I'm going to add, no, first is the quarter, right? Okay, quarter. Then we'll say apple. Then let's say banana. Then we'll say oranges. Okay. And here when you're making a data frame, you add columns. And now when you run it, so since we have given the names, what happened? Columns equal to columns, okay? Columns equal to columns. So columns is the, again, and the functions, if you have done, you'll remember this is your keyword argument, okay? Keyword argument, and you say columns equal to columns. So what happened? The index is now changed to the names that we give, okay? It got changed to the names that we gave, okay? Yes. Now you can give names to the rows also. Now see, when you talk about data for analytics, okay, we'll talk about thousands and hundreds of rows, thousands of rows. So there it will not make sense to add names to each rows. But since this is a smaller data set, we can add names. These are called index. Okay, these are called columns, and these are called index. So this is one index, second index, third index, fourth index. Okay, so I'm going to say ind index equal to, again, square bracket, and in it I'm going to give name for each of these rows. So we have 4 rows. I'm going to say Jan to March. Here I'm going to say April to June, right? Here I'm going to say July to September, right? And here I'm going to say October to December. Okay, and now I go here and I say, yeah, index equal to ind. Okay, ind is the variable that I gave here, and when you run it, you see 0, 1, 2, 3 is not changed to the name that we gave here. For data you can give, right? For 1000 rows you can't give 1000 names, right? And we don't need to give. But this is good when you want to represent it on the graph format. You want to represent something, then this is good. Okay. Now we'll see how to read data from database. Okay, we'll see how to read data from database. Okay. Now, do we have a database here? There should be some database here. Books. Yeah, I think there's one called library.ms. Any database? Yes. Okay, because when you're doing data analysis, you will need data from variety of sources, right? So you can read data from database directly. Okay, so first thing is we have to use particular library. Okay, we have not done database. We'll do it later. We'll see that. But to work with it, you need a library, right? You need a library to connect. And here, what we'll do is we will. Okay, so we need to connect to SQLite. This is SQLite database, SQLite 3. So we will import SQLite 3. Okay, now SQLite 3 will give us all the functions that is required to play with database. We need to play with database, right? So this will give us all the required functions using which we can play with database. So I'm going to say import SQLite 3. Okay, and now I'm going to connect to the database, isn't it? Okay, so how do you connect? So you can say connection string equal to SQLite3.connect. And here we need to give database name. So in my case, it is library ms.db. Okay, so this is your yeah. So we are connecting to what is called as SQLite 3 database. SQLite 3 database is on your machine. It does not have username password. So that's why we are not giving username password. Okay, and it has a table which I did it called students. Okay, and students has a list of students. Okay, so I'm going to, so first when you create the string, you have to close the string. Okay, remember to close it. And the database operation will be done between connection string and the closing. So I'm going to create my SQL query one. So SQL query, I'm going to say Q1 equal to select star from students. Okay, so we have a student here. We'll just display and see how the database looks like. Okay, so let's start from students. So now I'm going to run this. How do we run? I'm going to say rows, okay, equal to connection string. Okay, so before you do connection string, okay, I need to create what is called as cursor. So cursor is like a vehicle which will take your query. See, database is somewhere there. Database is different software than Python. Python is one software, database another software. So when we did this, okay, we are telling to the Python that, okay, we have a database here. Okay, we have a database somewhere, and this is how you connect to the database. So now this becomes visible. Okay, it becomes visible for the Python. Python can see the database. Okay, next step is to go to the database. You have to go there. How do you go there? You need a vehicle. You need a vehicle using which you can reach to that point. So that vehicle is called cursor. Cursor will take the data from Python to the database, and in case of select, it will even select data and get back to us in Python. So I'm going to say cursor equal to con.str.cursor. So I told you cursor is like a vehicle. So we have to send using cursor. So how do you send? You say cursor dot execute and you say Q1. So Q1 is a SQL command. Okay, we have not done SQL, we'll do SQL, okay, later, but just understand that select star from database gives us all the data from SQL. So this is one simple query that you remember. Okay, in SQL is the language to work with database, and this is a simple query to get the data from database. Okay, so you get data from students, and I'm going to execute it. Now this is going to give us some rows. You want one row or multiple rows? Okay, so we want, okay, dot. You see, if you want one or many or all, we want all the data from database. So we say rows equal to rows dot fetch all. Okay, so this is select. This is going to execute on the database. Output is in the rows. Now I'm saying rows dot fetch all. That means I want all the data from database, all the columns and rows, all the rows and columns. If you want, you can print it like this, or you can print, use a for loop. Okay, you can have to create a for loop. So for r in rows. Okay, so now rows will have all the data. Okay, we are going to read one row by row. So R will be one row, each row. Now when you run it, okay, it should give us, so see, it has two rows actually. Okay, you see, number, Virat email, phone number, and date of joining. Okay, these are the data in the database in students table. Now I want to display this in a table. So how do I display this in a table? Rows dot. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll create an empty list. We got list, and we will add each row here. So I'm going to say list 2 dot append, and I'm going to add all the rows here. I say R. Now when I say R, okay, and now, so this is list. Now I can simply choose this one, right? You can do it after close. So data, okay, instead of list 1, we'll say list 2. Okay, and for now, let's remove this. Let's see if the data is populated in data frame or not. So see, data got populated in data frame, table format. Here we are getting data is a as a tuple or list. We can do directly also, yes. So see, if you are doing that right, so what you have to do is, okay, you don't have to do all this. You have to convert this into list. Okay, the ulta bracket I gave. This, you have to convert this one into list, right? Not list into list. Okay, and then you can say list to equal to. Okay, now when you run it, okay, you get this data. Okay, so this is how you can, and of course you can add. No, it will be a cursor object type. You'll get a cursor object. You don't get information. It's an object. Okay, it's a record set of object. Record set. This is a record set. So fetch all will only expand it, and you can convert into, yes, yes. Fetch all, fetch one, so depending upon how many. So see, this is like you go and you go to a shop and it has everything. You have to say, I want this, 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 this. Then you take it from there. First row. First row. So sometimes you want to see value exist or not. In that case, you don't have to do fetch all. You just say fetch one. Yeah. So fetch one will give you only the first row. If it has 5 rows, in this case, if you do fetch one, you will get only Virat Kohli. Where? You have to add where clause. Okay. But see, once you get it, you have to, you can use list. But again, that's a SQL thing. Where? Yeah. Where? I think it's mem ID, if I remember correctly. Mem ID equal to 2. Okay. Okay, so you get only Virat Kohli. So if you do not want, okay, these things we'll discuss when you get into SQL. Okay, just remember, simple. So you can convert, and now you can add your rows and columns, right? Columns and index here. Okay, if you want to. So this is how you can read data from object or list, and you can convert into this. But mostly what we'll do is we are going to read data directly from CSV file. In our exercise, we'll see that. Okay, but sorry. See, when you are adding data into database, then see, if I want to talk to you, then it is my responsibility to create or speak to you, isn't it? So if through Python, if you want to add data to database, Python has to behave like that. I cannot say no, I will speak only French. I want to talk to you, but I'll speak French. No, if I want to talk to you, you have to talk your language, right? So Python cannot say that I will have data frame only and send it to you. You have to talk like database language to talk to database. Okay, so if you have to send, we will do that in Python. Sorry, SQL class. We'll see how to do that. But you have to convert into what is called insert command. Okay, you have to convert the, yes, in place of select, you have to write insert. Okay, yeah, correct. Insert into table name, and then you give yes. So because so database only accept data when you pass as an insert, right? So it is your job to convert this content, whatever way it is. Okay, so you convert data frame back to list or something you have to do, and then send it to database. Okay, so you have to use insert to do that. Okay. Okay, so thing is, for whom you want to do it, right? If you want to talk to database, if you want to play with database, you have to understand the database language. If database has to do something here, when we were in SQL and we want to populate SQL data in a Python thing, then SQL will launch Python commands. But here we are in Python. Python has to talk. So Python has to learn SQL. Okay. Next thing is, how do you access the members? Okay, I don't want all the data. Okay, so this is all the data in data frame. or let's say we'll talk about list 1 only. Okay, here. So in list 1, okay, this is all the data, right? Okay, how do I okay, I want to do subset of this. Let me put this up and this one down so that I get this table here. Okay, yeah. Now let's say I want to read the content from data frame. How do I read the data from data frame? So you have two options here. Okay, df dot data frame dot, we have iloc and lock. Okay, now iloc is a function which takes the integer value. This is how I remember. You have to take, it takes the integer value. Okay, if you want first row, what is the index of first row? 0. So you have to give 0 if you want first row. I want fifth column. What is the index of fifth column? 4. So I is for index and LOC is for name. If you want to pick based on name, you have to give LOC. If you want to pick based on index, you have to give iloc, ILOC. Yes. So if I say data frame, print data frame, it will print entire data frame, right? I don't want entire data frame. So if I don't want entire data frame, that's where you have to say dot ILOC or LOC. ILOC is a index. So how do you give index? Using square bracket. Index are given using, okay, remember this always, whether you talk about string, list, tuple, numpy, pandas, scipy, index is always, even dictionary, index is always square bracket. Okay, so this
Yes.
is what I give. Okay, now in this case, okay, you have to define row and column because we have row and column, right? So we say comma here. Left of comma will be rows and right of comma will be columns. So row, I need row 0 and 1. I need row 0 and 1. So to get 0 and 1, okay, you will say 0 and you have to go up to 2, right? Remember range function. It's always you give one more than what you want. Starting is same. Starting is from whichever number you start, same number it will start. But ending is always one more than what you need, plus 1. So I need 0 and 1, so I need to go to 2. If I need it from 0 to 2, I would have gone to 3. Okay, so this will give me row index row 0 and 1. So row 0 is this and row 1 is this. Now if I do not give any, I give colon in column. That means starting to ending. Okay, now when I run it, what happens? You see, you got 0 and 1 and all rows and columns. Okay, so iloc square bracket colon, left of colon you give rows, right of colon you give columns. Okay, if you want continuous value we give colon. 0 colon 2 means continuous. 0 1 and no 2, 0 and 1. If I want first 3, I will say 0 1 2. So I have to say here 3 because I need 0 1 2. Okay, columns you don't want all the columns. Let's say I want only banana and orange. Then what should I do? Or I can say -2, right? Banana and orange. Why -2? Because see the index here is 0, 1, 2, 3. Or you can say -1, -2, -3, -4. -1, -2, -3, -4. Okay. So -4. So I'll say -4. So this is your -3, isn't it? Then why did it give me banana? This is -1. This is -2. This is -2 only. The -3 is apple. We don't want -3. We want only -2 only. So that's why I'm saying -2. Okay, banana. If you want apple, then you have to say -3. The last 3 columns will appear. If I say -3, that means I'm saying from apple, go up to the end. Nothing after colon means go up to the end. Okay, whatever order doesn't matter. So I want from -3 till the end. Okay, till the end means no value here means up to the last column. I want up to the last column. Okay, so when you run it, you get, okay, quarter is gone, you get these 3 values. So this is how you can do subset. Now I want to find not the continuous values. I want, let's say, only apple and oranges. I don't want banana. So instead of giving like this, we'll give it as a list. And I'm going to say, okay, so this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 1, comma 3, 1, comma 3. You see, you got apple and oranges, no banana. Because I said 1, comma 3, not 1 colon 3. 1 colon 3 would have given us 1, 2. Right? 1, 2, not 3. Or even first and third, you say 1, comma 3. Okay. So this is how you use iLock. Now, if you have to use lock is about name. In name, you cannot give continuous value. I cannot say from apple to oranges. It doesn't know what is apple to oranges. You can say from 1 to 10, 5 to 20. You don't say, apple to oranges. So if you are using log, you cannot use continuous value. You have to give the names. So now let's say I give log. Okay. In log, okay, I want, now here I cannot say 1 colon 3 because they all have a name. See, there are 2 things. They all have names as well as index. Okay, they all have names as well as index. Now in this case, all of them had name, but when I did the index number worked. Okay, index number worked. But when you have names, then index number will not work. Log means you're looking for name. Log means you're looking for names. So let's say in row, I want Jan and March only. So I will say Jan, March. Here I want apple only. So here I will say apple. Okay. So see, Jan, March, apple value 2300 is printed. Comma, comma. Okay. Comma, comma. You have to say comma. So I want oranges. So I have to say oranges. No. When you do name, you cannot say. I cannot say from Abhiram to Sandeep. So what does it mean, right? There's no meaning in it, right? Okay. So this is how you can get. Now you see, let's say I do not give index, let's say. If you do not give index value, then name and number both will be 0 and 1 here. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you can say 0, 1, 2. Then you can treat it in lock. Yes, in lock. iLock anyway it will work. In lock I'm saying lock needs name. So if you do not give a name, then the index is also the name. Okay, if I don't give index.ind, then index number is also name. Okay, so this is how you can do you can do what you call sub indexing or getting subset out of the data. If you don't want all, right? You ask me, right? What if I don't? So one thing is you put where clause or you perform this. Okay. I want only apples. So in column here, uh, here you mention only apple. Okay. You mention only apple. You'll get only apple. That's how you can filter on pandas also, data frame also. Okay. So, now what we'll do is we will go and we'll read a CSV value. Okay. And of course, in the notes, there are a lot of practice examples you can practice. Okay. You can see, okay, different SQL commands are there. But what we need to do generally is we need to read the CSV file. Okay. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Any questions so far? Is it clear? Right? Practice. Okay. This will require practice. And metafrom is very important from machine learning perspective. Okay. So you have time, please practice. Now I want to go to GitHub location. Okay. I go to GitHub and I'm going to share, okay, my screen. Wait a second. Okay. So see, this is my GitHub repository. Okay. And guys, if you do not have GitHub account, please create it. Okay. As a data scientist, you should have GitHub account. Later, I'll tell you how to use GitHub for your job search. Do you have GitHub account? Great. So I'm going to show you, I have got some repository here. Okay, this is my files. Okay. Machine learning. I had something called data set. Okay. Yeah. Data set, if you see, these are data set, which are generally used for training purpose. Okay. One which I want. User usage. Yeah. I want these data set. User usage and user device. Okay. When you click on this, user usage, so this is a table with 4 columns. Outgoing minutes per month, outgoing SMS per month, monthly MB of data that is used, and this is the customer ID, user ID. Okay. So how do I read this file? You have to click on raw. Okay. So you can directly read the data from GitHub. You don't have to download it. Directly go and click on raw file. You'll create a raw version of file. Okay. This is like a CSV. See, this is CSV only. So I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to say import pandas as PD. PD.read CSV, and you give that raw file link. Okay. Now you say home and you say data df variable, anything. Okay. And you say print data df.
Hello,
If it's
we are not
public.
able to see your screen.
Oh, sorry. Okay, if it is public data, you can see. Whatever you can see, you can access. Whatever you can see in GitHub, you can access it. Okay. So I said import pandas as PD, data frame equal to pd.read CSV. Okay, and then you give that link. Okay, and that the data is read, and when you print that data, if the number of rows are less than 10, okay, or the number of columns are less than 6, it will give you entire data. But if it is more than 10 or more than 6 columns, it will actually give you first 5 rows and last 5 rows. Since columns are less than 6, you can see all the 4 columns here. Okay, so this is your column header. This is the index. See, it has already this is not there in the data set. It has added the index. And these are your data. So we are now reading the data. First data we have read. Now here, this shows how many rows and how many columns your data set has. So size is what? 240 into 4. So 240 rows and 4 columns. So your data set has 240 rows. 240 rows is minus the column headers, right? That's why index you see it starts from 0 and goes up to 239, right? Okay, so this is this is how you can read it. Now let's say I want to read more data set. Okay. Got bad cold. And of course, there are some functionalities of pandas we'll see. If not today, tomorrow we'll see how to slice and dice, how to have dimensions, and those things we'll also see. But today, let's try to download files from pandas from GitHub. So this is, let's say I call it as data df1. Okay. Now data df2. Okay. We call it as data df2. Okay. So this is our this is user usage, right? There's one more called as user device. Okay, we'll go back here and we'll go back. User device. Okay, so okay, user device. Okay, we'll take this one. Okay, so it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns it has. Okay, user type ID, device, okay, platform version, platform, user ID, and use ID. This is a use ID, this is the user ID, right? Now, if you see this, the user ID here, and we also had a user ID in the other table. That means we can link these two tables, isn't it? User ID is same. So I want to link these two tables based on, foreign key. So I want to, okay. So let me first read it, and then I'll tell you how we can merge it. So I'm going to get the raw version now, right? Now let me go to the PyCharm, and here I paste it. Now you see here. So yeah, this is our second table. Okay, this is our first table. Now Excel, let's open an Excel. So what we saw was first table has use ID. Okay, let's say use ID is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here you have, let's say, column A, column B, column C. And here you have use ID, and you have column X, Y, and Z. So, okay, and here let's say you have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Collab also same command. Exact same command will work. Okay. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. What would be the ABC value? So what happens here when you merge them together, right? Okay. When you merge them together, there are different types of merge. One is called inner merge. Inner, then you have full, then you have left outer. Outer, there are two. Left outer and right outer. Okay. So inner, full, left outer, right outer. Inner means the new table will have one of the common.
I'm sorry. Are you doing something in Paint or anything?
Yeah. Sorry. Okay. So I created an Excel file. Okay. I created, use ID and ABC columns. Okay. I added 1 to 5 here. And I created another table which also has use ID, but it has XYZ columns, different columns. But there's one common column in between them. I want to merge these two table based on the use ID. Okay. So here you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here you have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So 4, 5 is common between them, right? And rest of them are different. So when you merge them, there are 4 types of merge: inner merge, full merge, left outer, and right outer. Okay. So inner merge is when you merge them together, only common columns get added. So when you perform inner merge, your merge will look something like this: use ID ABC XYZ, okay, and only common. So 4 and 5 will come. This is called inner merge. Inner means common. No, not union. Intersection. Inner is intersection, common elements. Okay. So this is your inner. Then you have full. Full means, of course, you have same number of columns. Okay. You'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 6, 7, 8. This is your union. So now for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you don't have value for XYZ, right? All these will be none, blank. Okay. So you will not have any value for 1, 2, 3. All right. And same thing will happen for 6, 7, 8 here. They will be blank. Okay. You get values like this. So full means I want all the rows. Then left outer means when you join them, you will say join, okay, T1 comma T2. If I say join T1 comma T2, which is left table? T1 is left and T2 is right. Yes or no? If you do join T2 comma T1, then T2 becomes left and T1 becomes right. Okay. So if I say left outer means, okay, here it is going to be left table, which is left table T1. Okay, and XYZ will be added. Okay, so XYZ for 1, 2, 3 will be none. Since we have said left outer, okay, the left column will have all the rows. Okay, and right one will just have the common. Okay, and for these, like for 1, 2, 3, they don't have values, it will be none. So this is called as left outer. Okay, now same thing if I do right outer, right side table is T2. So you will take T2 here as common. Okay, and then you will add ABC. Okay, and your ABC for 6, 7, 8 will be blank. This is how, this is your left outer. T is full. T1 will have all the columns, left outer. And this is your right outer. Okay, so we'll stop here today. Okay, tomorrow we'll see how we can implement using Pandas left outer and right outer joins. Make sense?